a voice for the voiceless. Yes. What is going on in Black America is not okay. We are not okay.
I can't tell you how proud I was to see you out on the front lines, you know, in the protest with everybody, really trying to use your voice for change. I mean, what compelled you to say, I need to get up out of my house and go down and participate?
You know, I have definitely been a witness to a lot of police brutality in my lifetime. And when I watched the video when George Floyd was murdered, it really touched me in a different way. For me to sit there and see a Black man who was completely unarmed, not resisting, laying on the ground, face on the pavement, a knee in his neck, two other officers laying on the, applying pressure on the rest of his body, the amount of time that he was down, every cry that he cried out when he asked for his mother, all of that touched me in a completely different way. I'm a mother now, and you know, God forbid I would have to go through anything like that to lose a child. God forbid if I'm already gone, my child is on the ground under the knee of a police officer who is supposed to protect and serve them, snuffing their life out with soulless eyes. So to be able to see that, it felt like I was literally it felt like I was there. It really did. It didn't feel like I was just looking at a video in my phone. It felt very personal to me. And it awoke something in me that I knew was there. I have always had a heart for the people. It's in my blood. My grandfather, Reverend Hosea Williams, and my father raised us in that way to have a heart for the people, charitable. I've marched with my grandfather in the past, but it ignited what was in me to want to fight for real change and to understand that I need to be with my people, with our allies, side by side, and fighting for real change and justice for George Floyd's family and for the other families who have been victims of police brutality.
Forgive me if I get a little emotional. You just describing that video took me right back to seeing it the first time, you know, and it breaks you in a way that you, number one, you don't expect because you don't know him, right, but you connect with him.
I don't have to know him personally. I am George Floyd. I am African American. My brother is African American. His children are African American. You know, people I work with, you know, we should not be targeted because of the skin that we live in. And our skin became a negative very long ago. And we've been living in this negativity, in being attacked for a very long time. And if I can do anything, if anything was in my power to help lift the voice of the protesters who are out there every day, tirelessly, peacefully trying to be heard, be seen, be felt, if I can do anything to assist with that, how dare I sit at home and not get out there and be active?
I saw the video that you posted of being tear gassed.
We out here peacefully protesting. Yes. And they're tear gassing us. And they tear gassed us for no reason at all.
Take me to that moment and what you were thinking in that moment and what that moment is like.
They have been very peaceful protests, but this one by far was the most peaceful. It was very organized, and we were very respectful of the police. And there was a moment where we saw music was starting to be played, and people kind of decided to just enjoy and live within that moment. And so they were enjoying the music. Dennis turned to me and said, "Babe, you should show this. You know, the media is showing so much negativity about the protesters. Show this." And I said, "Okay." And I turned my phone on. At the same time, right before I turned my phone on, I looked and I saw a couple officers taking a knee. And I said, "Oh my God, they're going to take a knee with us. They're going to join us." We were going to chant, "Join us." Within seconds, all this is happening at the same time. I then see the police officer pull over his gas mask. So at that point, I'm like, okay, no, they're not joining us. This is turning into something else. And it just, more than not being able to breathe because of the gas, more than my eyes being on fire like I have never experienced before, more than having to feel like I was literally running for my life in my own state where I was peacefully protesting, and that's my right. It felt like we were being silenced. And to feel like you're being silenced and your whole purpose is to be heard and get your message across can be devastating. So, yes, I took some gas and to my eyes, and I had to have milk and water poured in my face. Listen, I'm all right. I'm all right. Mm-hmm. And everyone else who's out there fighting the good fight, they will also be all right. But it has to be known that, and has to be demanded that we are able to peacefully protest. It is the voice of the people. This is how they are being heard. We have to be able to do that. Now, our curfew in Atlanta was 9 o'clock. This was around 7:45. Mm-hmm. So I really didn't understand why that happened. But again, the message that we have is not going to die. It's not. George Floyd will not have died in vain. Breonna Taylor will not have died in vain. And the other people who have been victims of police brutality will not have died in vain. We are going to continue to fight and want justice and want to feel equal to our counterparts.
Somebody may be watching this at home and they may be saying, I hear you, Porsha, and I agree with everything you're saying, but I'm scared to go join the protest. I'm scared to step outside and do this. What's your message to somebody who might be on the bubble, who is with you, but is just afraid to take that step?
That you should be more fearful to stay home. You should be more fearful to not say nothing. If we don't use our voice, whomever you are, you stand to leave your family members, your younger family members, a country that will kill them. Mm-hmm. This is life or death. So, take that fear, feel it, acknowledge it, because I believe in that. No, we are all human. Mm-hmm. Feeling fear is natural. Crying is natural, as you're doing during this interview. All of those things are very natural and real. But to have real change, we have to activate and have practical ways to make it happen. And in the real world, that is getting out there and protesting and joining others who are like you and like-minded and want to have change, and also going to go vote.
I saw that Andy posted when you were out protesting. Preach, Porsha. Like, he was very happy for you and proud of you. How has your Bravo family supported you, and your other castmates supported you, in this fight as well?
It was very heartwarming for Andy to reach out to me and to know that he stands beside me as my boss, and me being African American and him knowing what we're going through as a people. It was very, very important and powerful for him to repost that and give it attention and show that he's on the right side of history with this one. And as far as my castmates, some of them have reached out. Candy has even offered to give money towards helping bail other people out. I don't want to name people because I don't want anybody to feel left out. Gotcha. It's not about any of that. But, of course, my main people, Nene, Tanya, whatever, they have been very supportive.
How's Tanya's business? I saw that she posted it did get vandalized, and she was, understandably very upset. Do they plan to rebuild and plan to, stay in the area?
I'm not really sure what she's going to do, but she's in good spirits. She's doing fine. That, I'm sure she has insurance and she will deal with it. She is focused on what I'm focused on, which is the mission and in seeking justice.
I saw your post where you said, if you need help, if you've been arrested, DM Dennis, because we're here to help. This for you and him as a family, this is what you all want to stand for in life and teach Pilar, yeah?
Absolutely. When you pray for a purpose in your relationship, which is what I had been praying for during this quarantine, you don't know what God is going to lay upon you. And this has been something that he is very passionate about, and so am I. The email for people to contact if they've been arrested while peacefully protesting is helpus@newcivilrights.org. And someone will contact you. We have attorneys on standby to help get people out. We also have money, our personal money. We have people who have asked to also pay for other people to get out. And that is what we want to do, because again, you cannot infringe on people's right to be able to peacefully protest. Not anybody who was doing anything other than that. But if you were, we are here to help you and make sure you can get right back out there. Because guess what? You get up and you wipe yourself off and you continue to fight the good fight.
What have you learned about yourself?
I haven't learned much about myself because I knew that I always would fight for mine. Okay. You know, I'm a first-time mother and I'm very protective over my daughter. I'm very protective over anyone who is close to me, period. And, you know, when you talk about the fact that right now everybody is protesting for humanity, just to simply treat, just for George Floyd to have simply be treated like a human and not be on the ground as
like
he was disposable, is what we are fighting for. So I am fighting for humanity, those my human brothers and sisters. And when you're out there in the field, you actually see that our allies of every different races, etc., backgrounds, cultures, they feel the same way I do. And we all are out there with the exact same passion as if George Floyd was our brother. And, you know, if you don't see yourself in what is happening in America, then you are a part of the problem.
Porsha, what do you think your granddaddy would think of the climate that we're in right now?
I really think that he would be more focused on what are we going to do? What are his children going to do? How is America going to react? Because he and anyone else who fought for us in civil rights is going to feel like, we laid this out for you guys. You saw us be arrested. You saw us be mistreated. You saw dogs bite us. You saw us be shot. You saw us be hung. You saw us not be able to vote. You saw all of that. And I really feel like our ancestors, my grandfather is what would want us to have seen that and to continue the fight. I really do believe that.
Your spirit is so strong, but how's your heart right now?
This is not anything that I think I even expected to be in the middle of while fighting a pandemic. You know, I just feel like it is just so ironic that we were just concentrating on fighting for our lives and staying in our homes to protect ourselves. And here I am, and the rest of America is coming out of our homes to again fight for our lives. Because this is life or death at this moment. If we lose this battle, there are more African Americans who are going to die. And one of them could be in my family. One of them could be in yours. It can be just that close to us. And so it's just, my heart is heavy, but I just try to rechannel that energy. And that's the same thing I try to do when I'm out amongst the people protesting, when I'm online protesting, etc., and lifting my voice, is to help us channel that energy, channel that passion, channel that anger, channel that pain that we feel. And today is a good day to do that, is to go vote. You can go vote early here in Atlanta, a lot of other places you can go vote. Take all of that, get your butt in the car and go to those polls and vote, because that'll be the first step for real change.
There's been a lot of attention paid to some of the other Bravo stars, not necessarily from Atlanta at all, that may not have spoken out or spoken out in ways, trying to find a kind word for this. I don't even know if there is. Well, actually, there really isn't one. Really stupid, ignorant comments. What's your message to some of those folks?
To be honest with you, I haven't seen any of that. I'm very focused, and I just don't have any time for, the rhetoric that the president is speaking about, or if any other person is saying anything that's negative and distracting to what I'm focused on. I'm focused on justice for George Floyd. Okay. I just believe that his family is hurting right now, and I want what his family wants, and that's justice. I want what any of the other families who have recently lost someone within 2020 to police brutality, I want what they want, and that's justice. And that's all I'm focused on. I don't even know about what anybody else is doing if it's not like-minded with the mission at hand.
Amen. I hear you.